and welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by JJC Athletics. I'm your host, Damian Dennis, and I'm joined again by cross-country coach Jeff DeGraw. Jeff, welcome back to the show.
That's good. It's good that I'm back.
Yeah. And we're here to pretty much wrap up the cross-country season. Participated in the national meet, was it last weekend?
Yes.
Third place finish for the men. Fifth place for the women, right?
Correct.
A couple All-Americans and a national champion between the two teams. I just want to know your thoughts, kind of, right now, a few days removed from the meet.
Winning, I'll tell you what, winning an individual national championship or even winning a trophy is hard because that means you got to be in the, when you go to nationals, it's about, and I tell the team from day one, we want to try to win hardware because that is something they will remember for the rest of their lives. You can't really plan, at least in my eyes, you can't go into the season and think, okay, we're going to go and win, because then anything else is disappointing if you don't win. But to come in third in the country and our women fifth from where they began this year is truly amazing. And what Nathan did, winning the national championship, was pretty incredible, especially the way he did it and what throughout the season, what happened, and it all went according to plan, so to speak.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit? Let's talk about Nathan first and his winning this national championship. He won the men's race. Just kind of talk about a little bit of what he went through during the season and how that prepared him to just perform at such a high level at the national meet.
Well, Nathan is full of confidence. I mean, and that's a good thing. Sometimes, though, he gets a little too confident. And during the season, the national runner-up who he beat at nationals beat him 3 times during the season.
Yeah.
But after each race, we talked about it and how by the end of the year he could beat him. And, Nathan ran different ways throughout the season, which was a very good thing because then during the national race, you're prepared for anything. Going out hard, going out easy. The first race he went out really hard and he got caught. At the regional meet, he made a move at 3 miles and got caught. So he learned from everything, and he ran as close to a perfect race at the national meet as you could possibly run. I mean, he was always with the leaders, but never led.
Yep.
Until there's a little hill with about 300 meters to go, and there was him and the runner-up, and they were together, and he came up this hill and got a lead from, no further than me to you. And that was the first time he got the lead. But when he got to the top of the hill with about 300 meters in a straightaway to go, he went from this much to that much in just a couple seconds and ended up winning by 5 seconds.
And that did that downhill, I don't know how big the hill was, but did that kind of help him at all? Did the course help him in the end there, that was final 300 meters?
No. I mean, he just had so much confidence. We talked a lot about, he was a 4:18 miler in high school, and, we knew that if he was right with the group, it would be hard for anybody to outkick him at the end.
Yep.
And he just looked so relaxed and so good. And one of the great things is his parents were there to watch that happen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. In fact, his mom and I were on the course. They ran a 4K loop or a 2K loop 4 times. And there was one point where it looked like he was going to go for the lead about halfway through. And both his mom and I yelled, no. We were far enough away. There was no way he could hear us.
Yeah.
But it was sort of funny. And he just stayed right where he was. And, it was exciting. And we're the first team to have 2 national champions since I went back as far as 2015. So in the last 10 years, JJC is the only team to have 2 individual national champions.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Men obviously finished in third place there. Let's talk a little bit about some of those other runners who kind of helped propel the team to that finish.
Gavin Carlson was 7th, and he's just been a grinder. Especially, he gained so much confidence in the regional meet. He was, I think, 5th overall in the region meet, and that's with all divisions. And then that just gave him such confidence going into the national meet. And I call him our grinder because he just grinds out the 5-mile race, and he just kept moving up a little bit at a time, and just did a tremendous job. And then our third runner was Logan Schmidt, who ran his best race of the year. He was 20th, 23 seconds from being an All-American. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And he was shocked when I told him where he was at the end. And there may be a surprise coming for Logan because, and I might as well break the news here, All-Americans are the top 15 or the top 15%, depending on the amount of finishers.
Yeah.
So there were 134 finishers. It's not the people who start the race because you have to finish. 134 finishers. So 15% of 134 is 20.1. So if it becomes official, Logan would be also an All-American. But we have to wait until the final.
Yeah.
I get the final word.
I mean, but is Logan a freshman this year?
Yes. So, top 3 were all freshmen.
Yeah. So in theory, though, if he doesn't get it, chip on his shoulder for next season,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah. And I think they'll all have a great track season.
Yeah. So I guess you kind of touched on it there. The top 15 or the top 15% of finishers qualify for All-American status honors. Is that pretty much like concrete? Like that's how they're decided at the cross country?
Yes, I mean, it's the same way the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association present the All-American certificates, and they're the same certificate that we get here at JJC as they get if you're an All-American at the University of Illinois, and that's something they have for the rest of their life. Every division, NCAA, I believe, is the top 40. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. But they have a lot more runners in their national meet than we do. But it's quite a prestigious honor because you think of all the people that run cross country across the country. There's not many, not many All-Americans.
Right. Sticking on the topic of All-Americans, but let's jump to the women's side. I know Gabby Zid qualified for All-American, right?
Yes.
Did anyone else from the women's side?
No, we had the worst possible scenario for the women. Olivia Kicks finished 16th.
Oh.
0.9 of a second behind 15th.
Okay.
I mean, she missed All-American by less than a second.
Again.
Yes. Oh, and that, she was disappointed right at the end, but she was okay with it because when you're, and she's got now motivation. That's really has motivated her for next year.
Yeah.
She's already talking about it.
Yeah.
So, and the women, finishing 5th in the country, which is where we were ranked pretty much all year. We had people on our team who never ran cross country before. Mm-hmm. And to be, 5th in the country, one person I'd like to really point out is Adrienne Carpin. She was an All-American last year in track, and this is her second year, and she was a quarter miler. This is her second year in cross country. She ran, last year as a freshman, she ran 31 minutes for 5,000 meters, 3 miles. So over 10-minute miles.
Yeah.
In the national meet, she ran 23 minutes, almost in the 22s.
Yeah.
She came so far. And another one was Lexi Hankins, who never ran cross country in her life. Ran in the 30s her first race, but ran in the 25s at the national meet.
Yeah.
And I kept telling them all year, just stick with it. You're going to run fast at the end. And they did a fantastic job.
Now, when it comes to kind of training these student athletes who have never participated in cross country before coming to JJC, how do you kind of approach that? Because, from my point of view, it's just running and then conditioning to make sure you can run. But, for you, like, how do you get them, I guess, mentally prepared for whether it's practice, a meet, the national meet?
Well, for us, it's a little bit at a time. One of our very first workouts we do is a timed mile that, I have here on campus on the trail. And I remember Lexi running in the nines. And, okay, there's your starting point. And by the end of the year, she was in the low sevens for the mile. And, her first race, some of these people never ran cross country before. Their first race, they'll run maybe a mile.
Yeah.
Okay, go a mile. And then the second race, you're going to go 2 miles. Mm-hmm. So it's not all of a sudden 3 miles right away. You have to gradually and then give them the confidence that they can do it. And you see it every day in practice. All of a sudden, they can't stay up, and all of a sudden they're getting closer, and now they're staying up with everybody and doing the workouts that make it possible for them to race well.
Yeah. Overall, you mentioned the women. You entered the season kind of ranked 5th. You finished the season in 5th place. Pretty much stay the course all year. Obviously, you'd like to improve on that throughout the season. But, I mean, how do you feel knowing the women's side really just kind of they performed very well and just kind of stayed the course in a sense?
Well, we kept inching closer to the team that got 4th all season long. Yeah. At Nationals, we finished closer to them than we had all season. So that's where you see the improvement. And, you have to, the other teams also came through. We came through. And there's nothing you can do. Cross country, track, pretty much you have no control over what anybody else does.
Yeah.
In basketball, you can defend people and block them out and do everything like in basketball. But in cross country, track, it's just you and your team. You have no control over what anybody else does, and you can't worry about what anybody else does. Yeah. I thought Gabby, in fact, I have individual meetings with everybody, and I just had my meeting with her, and she's still very happy with the way she performed becoming All-American. She went to Manuka High School, never ran at a state meet in her life. Yeah. And now she's an All-American. And that's just the confidence that she has gotten over the year and the work ethic that, everybody on the team has. Again, this goes back to our philosophy of giving everybody an opportunity to compete in college no matter what you've done in the past. Yeah. Because you never know when that light switch is going to pop on.
Right. And actually, that kind of brings up a good question. Me not being super familiar with cross country beyond our conversations, really, and just following specifically JJC throughout the season. Cross country, whether it's at high school, JUCO, NCAA, whatever level, is there anyone, so like in basketball, you have those players that are coming off the bench, or maybe they only see a few minutes in a game. Do you have any runners that you don't run throughout the season, or essentially can everyone participate, in just, let's say, any normal meet throughout the season?
Everybody can run. You can enter, even through the regional meet, we can enter as many people as we want.
Yeah.
At the national meet, you are limited to 7.
Okay.
So then and I always take 8 to nationals just in case somebody gets sick or something happens while we're there. So we always have a full team.
Yeah.
But, and they know that from day one. So, like this year for the men, we had somebody who ran at nationals last year, but this year he was our 8th guy. Yeah. He got to go, but he didn't get to run.
Right.
Those are pretty much for the men this year. I had to make a decision on who our 7th was going to be. And I usually wait until Friday night to tell them, so everybody has the same preparation, everything. Right. That's the hardest thing to do as a coach, to tell somebody you can't run in the national meet.
Yeah.
That's tough. But, they understand. And, the one nice thing really with track, cross country, we have it on paper. Here's your times. Mm-hmm. It's not, okay, well, like in football or something where you can, watch film or, well, I did this, he did that, but we have the times.
Yeah. And you mentioned track. Obviously, you're the track coach here at JJC too. With cross country kind of coming to an end, and you mentioned, you're meeting with, I think it was Gabby. Are you still kind of in cross country mode as we enter kind of, mid-November here? Or are you starting to transition into preparing for the indoor portion of the track season?
Cross country stopped the minute they crossed the finish line. now everything is track and field. The cross country team does have each individual is a little bit different, but they have time off. Like we have no practice this week. They are not, except for my meeting with them. They don't have to be around. I will tell them. I will say, just take it easy, do stuff, sleep, get your classes in order if, you've been struggling. But I will say that they all, or most of them, had said how different their body feels because they're out of their routine. And I think routine is so important in all athletics. When we start August 1st, it's 100 days to nationals.
Yeah.
So they've been in a routine for August, September, October, and part of almost half of November, and all of a sudden that stops.
Yeah.
We have practice at 7 a.m. All of a sudden, that's no more. And it's like, it's like as a coach, once the season's over, it's like this big letdown. There's nothing there right now.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with an athlete. All of a sudden, a couple of them have said, I'm bored. Because I'm not getting up, I'm not going out running, I'm bored. What do I do? And that's a good thing, and they start to believe how important routine is.
Yeah. I mean, I can add on to that, just give my own opinion. Routine is just invaluable to life in general. I try to get my wife into a routine all the time because she's very just kind of go with the flow. But like, for example, Tuesday we had the men's and women's basketball games here on campus. Well, I was here until like 9:30, 10. I brought the family with, had to go home, get home, had to write the stories, post on the website. By the time I'm done, it's 11:30. Normally, I'm getting out of the gym at 11:30 at night. So I'm like, well, I got to go to bed. And then I slept poorly because my routine's out of whack.
Correct.
And then Wednesday, I didn't work out because I slept poorly the night before because my routine's out of whack.
Right.
So tonight is not usually a workout night for me. I'm going to go home and go to bed so I can get back into the routine tomorrow on Friday.
And as the older you get, we don't need as much sleep as kids do anyway, or they think they do. But I still wake up at the same time, even.
I could have slept in today. I still got up at 8.
Exactly.
Like
8.
Well,
I haven't slept in.
Well, I'm a journalist too.
I know.
So my schedule is wacky.
I know how that goes. Yes.
And we bring up track though. When does practices start for track, and how many of your cross country athletes are going to be a part of your track team?
They all do it. Track will officially start the Monday after Thanksgiving. So then we'll have about 2 weeks of practice before finals week. We won't have practice finals week. And then they go their separate ways. And that's one thing that is different in college than high school. They're gone for a month.
Yeah.
Now, most of them are local and will be here around so anybody can come. But they have to work out over Christmas break because when we get back in January, we have a meet right away.
Yeah.
And that's all of a sudden reality hits if they don't do anything over break.
When is the first meet?
I think school starts Monday, January 13th. That's Saturday, the 18th, we have a meet.
All right. Well, that'll be fun. We'll have to get you back on that week then to highlight track season.
What's coming up?
Yeah. But, Jeff, as always, it's great to have you here to talk about cross country. I guess kind of to wrap up, you have any coffee today?
Oh, I had coffee.
I drank a full pot myself.
Yes.
I'm still just not with it.
All right. Thanks, Damian.
Yep. Tune in next week for more Coffee with the Wolves.